Democrat Congressman Jared Moskowitz, is on the Doge caucus. Now, Jared, I love you. You had a great time on the last time we had you on the show. I respect you. But the Democrats look crazy. You guys understand, you guys look crazy now, right?
Well, first of all, Jesse, it's good to be with you again. And I heard you had missed me, so I figured I'd come appear on Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day.
You too.
And look, yes, some of this stuff hasn't been our finest moment. But look, the reason why I joined the Doge caucus is because I believe, as do many other Democrats, that we should cut fraud, waste, and abuse. These are things that Bill Clinton and Al Gore talked about.
Right.
And so there's a right way. There's a right way to do it. There's a constitutional way to do it. And a lot of this is going to have to come to Congress anyway. Go look at the debt clock, right? The debt clock is still running up. So while, yes, find the fraud, find the waste, find the abuse, in order to solve America's debt crisis, you're going to have to do that in Congress. It's not going to happen in the executive branch.
All right, well, so what? Let the lawyers figure it out. You guys can let the lawyers battle it out in the courts, but why do you guys go out there and sing songs and act crazy and look like you're pro-waste, fraud, and abuse? You know, every American now thinks the Democrats are defending waste, fraud, and abuse.
During a recent interview with Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz, MAGA Fox News host Jesse Waters accidentally publicly humiliated Donald Trump by admitting on live TV that Trump really had no idea what the hell he was doing when he was president the first time. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, it's always funny when MAGA Fox host and other MAGA influencers accidentally humiliate Donald Trump by revealing him to be detached and ignorant and, incompetent in so many ways. And we actually see this here. Jesse Waters was trying to help Trump shirk responsibility after Moskowitz, had him dead to rights. And in so doing, Waters admitted Trump really didn't know what he was doing when he was president the first time.
We sent condoms and contraceptives to Mozambique in 2019 during the Trump administration, right? USAID was doing that stuff then too. So this has been going on for a long time. Democrats and Republicans share this responsibility. You're right about that in Congress.
Yeah.
But this is our moment. This is our moment. This is our moment on a bipartisan basis.
I don't think Trump knew about the condoms. I think there was a lot that Trump didn't really know that was going on. He was battling special prosecutors over your Russia hoax, Moskowitz.
So it's so funny to see Waters do this again. And this, by the way, this is not a novel. This is not the first time a MAGA influencer said something like this. Well, Trump was new. He was fresh. He was green. He didn't know how Washington worked. That's why he made so many bad appointments. That's why he did so many things that were struck down by courts. That's why he didn't get a lot done. He didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Well, you all were singing his praises in Trump term 1 about how he was revolutionary and he single-handedly created the United States economy. He was the second or third coming of Jesus. Now you're saying actually he was actually really dumb and incompetent, didn't know what the hell he was doing, and he was distracted and detached in term 1. But this time it's different. So it's interesting revisionist history, besides which there's no indication whatsoever that Trump was directly involved in the defense, I should say, of prosecutions into him, like the Mueller investigation, for example, in Russia. Of course, that situation was not a hoax. Donald Trump publicly asked Russia for an adversary during the 2016 campaign to intervene in the 2016 elections to hack the DNC servers. And then we know actually the very next day that's exactly what happened. Now, of course, special counselor Robert Mueller was never able to prove any sort of conspiracy between Donald Trump and Russia, but he was able to make multiple convictions from the Trump campaign in regards to their inappropriate ties to Russia. He also said that there were provable instances of obstruction of justice by Donald Trump as the sitting president, but he didn't recommend recommend any charges be brought against Trump because Trump is the sitting president and you couldn't indict a sitting president, blah, blah, blah. So again, no hoax. It was actually pretty robust and substantive. But again, just a kind of an embarrassing admission. But well, it's different when you know these things. I'm complaining about now, yeah, they were done under Trump. But Trump was just too stupid and distracted and green and amateurish and dilettantish to really know what the hell he was doing. Number one, that's no excuse. Number two, you would never tolerate that excuse if it were a Democrat. And number three, you just gave the game away that the guy doesn't know what he's doing. Before I play the next clips, I just want to say, for context, Moscow is now a sophomore Democratic congressman. He was a freshman in the last Congress. He represents a district in Florida. He's hilarious. He has brilliant rhetoric. He's a masterful troll. He knows how to piss off Republicans and bait them and mock them, particularly James Comer. But he's also like really confident and poised, and he goes on right-wing media and engages with right-wing media all the time. He's pretty moderate, right? He was, I think, the first Democrat to join the Doge caucus. I wish he was a bit more progressive, a bit more radical, quote unquote, but he certainly does a lot of outreach with the other side. I just don't think it's going to manifest itself in any meaningful way. Because Doge is a show having said that, though. That's why he's on Fox News and why he seems to have a pretty good rapport with Jesse Waters. I wish he'd push back a bit more, but he's really good at what he does overall, especially in terms of rhetoric. Here's another clip.
You're not going to be able to do it by CR anymore, because if you do it by CR, then what we're really saying is, okay, look, Doge says they found all this fraud, waste, and abuse. If you do it by CR, you're going to refund all of that stuff.
All right, listen,
so we're going to have to do it with
Congress
individual
can't
spending
cut
bills.
any money. You can't do it. You've driven this country into a $36 trillion hole. Someone else has to take charge. Okay? We did it your way.
Well, the
It doesn't
Republicans are
work
completely
your
in
way.
charge, Jesse.
It doesn't work.
So again, this idea that no, we have to surrender congressional authorities to the president because you guys got us into this mess. Well, Trump was the one who added to the national debt $8 trillion. Again, the so-called waste, fraud, and abuse, which took place, specific example, condoms, being sentenced, prophylactics, and things to try to reduce HIV, and aid was sent to Mozambique. Well, that happened under Donald Trump. So again, a great example. Like by your own standard, he's guilty of the very same sort of waste, fraud, and abuse. And right now, Congress is LED and dominated by Trump's party. They control the House. They control the Senate. They control the White House. They have a supermajority on the Supreme Court. So who the hell are you going to blame for this incompetence? Who the hell are you going to blame for the lack of ability of the Republican Party to get his together? Sounds like it's the Republicans' fault 100%. But Jesse Waters can't cop to that because, again, it reveals at how incompetent Trump is as a leader and how incompetent his party is. So he has to blame it on the minority party, and he actually can't point to anything specifically. I want to play one last clip, though, in which Moscow Wits gets a pretty good zinger in again. I have a pretty wide sense of humor, so I understand even joking about this particular thing, but it's also kind of a TCID admission by Jesse Waters about just how much worse the Republican Party is. Watch this exchange here in which they joke about January 6th.
In order to solve America's debt crisis, you're going to have to do that in Congress. It's not going to happen in the executive branch.
All right, well, so what? Let the lawyers figure it out. You guys can let the lawyers battle it out in the courts, but why do you guys go out there and sing songs and act crazy and look like you're pro-waste, fraud, and abuse? Every American now thinks the Democrats are defending waste, fraud, and abuse.
Well, look, what do you want us to do? Storm the Capitol? I mean, that's already been done. Right?
That's our job. That's our job. Leave that to us, Moskovitz. No, but
yeah, that is what you guys do. Again, so much packed into that, joke, that quip. But it is true that is a uniquely Republican phenomenon. Democrats have been disappointed with the election results multiple times. 2000, Bush-Vore, Trump's first victory in 2016-2024 as well. But there were no violent attempts to overthrow the government by sitting Democratic officials, again. In 2016, President Obama it's just the reason I think it's just worth unpacking. This is because there's so much that's wrong with the MAGA movement collectively. There's so much wrong about Donald Trump. Again, unique things that we've never seen from any Republican or Democratic candidate before, no matter how flawed. And it's easy to forget about it because we're finite. I'm finite. You're finite. We're limited. We have hobbies and, significant others and children and family members and friends. And so we have to divert so much effort and energy to other important things. But it bears repeating that Jesse made an admission there. Jesse Waters did. And he probably meant to tongue and cheek, but it's true. They have a unique problem with trying to overthrow the government when they don't get their way. Now, is it something they always try to do? No, but they're the only ones who have ever attempted to do it right. Again, I keep going back to when Trump won in 2016, there were protests and people were pissed and scared and much more energized. And they are right now. Right now, people are exhausted, truly exhausted. I'm exhausted. I imagine you are too. But Barack Obama was still the president. He was a Democrat. Joe Biden was vice president, and he would be the one presiding over the certification of Trump's victory. Hillary Clinton, of course, was the candidate who lost. They didn't conspire, the three of them, to block Trump's victory, to refuse to certify or to steal it with fake electors or to try to sue their way into the White House. They certainly didn't stage an insurrection or fomented insurrection. Hillary Clinton publicly and privately conceded, and that was the end of it. And it's an important distinction because, again, so many people say, oh, both parties are the same. They're not. I'm not asking you to fall in love with the Democratic Party. I have my issues with the Democratic Party. Believe it or not, I just refuse to pretend that they're both the same or that they're both equally good or equally bad. They're not. And what was interesting about that last part is Jesse Waters admitted that really in the very worst and most important ways, his party and his cult of personality, they really do suck. So interesting exchange, interesting interview again. Probably the single best part of it was Jesse Waters admitting, actually, no, Trump's a dumbass who was distracted and didn't know what the hell he was doing. So we can't hold him account for the terrible things that happened on his watch, even though we would never do that for a Democratic candidate. Just a shocking admission that if Trump is paying attention to, he might be like, wait, Jesse? What do you mean? I didn't know what I was doing. He threw you under the bus, man. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to help boost this video and you enjoy, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you're stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments or just say, hi, thank you for your support. And until next time, I'll see you soon.